Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team. I think the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Alex, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Of course, Buffalo's playing Miami tonight. We'll have the full breakdown as we're going through. And I knew you were going to show up in your Bass jersey. We knew that. I showed up in Buffalo colors. What am I doing over here?
I don't know. It works, though. It definitely works.
It's Week 3 in the NFL. College football, Week 4 gets going tonight with Charlotte and Rice. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Our guy, Dwayne Colucci, joins us 10 minutes from now. But we have to begin today in Major League Baseball as we have 5 day games, and we have a lot going on all of a sudden across the board in Major League Baseball. And, let's just start in Queens. That's where the first one by the rotation numbers pops up, and that is the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. Mets got a little bit of a reprieve yesterday because the Diamondbacks somehow managed to blow that game yesterday against the Giants. They had a runner at third with 1 out in the 9th and the 10th and didn't score, and then the Giants put 5 on them in the 11th. So San Francisco, by the way, Justin Verlander looks like Justin Verlander again, shockingly enough. But here we go today. The Mets, and I'm a little bit perplexed by this pricing again. I've been perplexed by the pricing in all 3 games in this series so far. So far, we'd be 1-1. Mets won on Tuesday. Padres won yesterday, and the price didn't make much sense. Jonah Tong against Randy Vasquez. Tong is a big favorite. He's coming off a disastrous start where he didn't make it out of the first against Texas. -140, total of 9. Mets enter today a game and a half ahead of Arizona, 2 in front of Cincinnati and San Francisco. Both of those teams in action tonight against divisional opponents. 10 games to go for everyone but Arizona. They have 9 left, Alex.
Really quick on that game yesterday, too. Justin Verlander, you're right, looks really good, and Brandon Pfaadt threw a very good game as well.
9 innings of shutout ball. You're supposed to win with that.
Pretty impressive, yes. So I was pretty fortunate with that one. For this one here today, I agree with you. I think Randy Vasquez has been plenty good enough to get a little more respect in this from the books. Now, I know that the Mets offense has been really good, and you have to factor that in as well, but run line, first 5, you're getting half a run, -110. I think that's the way to play it here. I think they could definitely be even. And Randy Vasquez, in his last 5 starts, he has just one blow up against the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was on back-to-back seeing them. Now, there has been some starts in there where he hasn't gone deep, so that could be your only worry. Maybe he only makes it through 4 here against the Mets. But that's the way I would play it, getting half a run there for them to keep it close in the first 5.
This is just for both of these teams. San Diego still 2 behind L.A. Dodgers behind brilliance from Blake Snell, 1 last night. So the Padres didn't make up any ground yesterday. Also in the NL, the Cubs clinch a playoff spot yesterday. Yep. Again, they're more likely than not going to catch Milwaukee 5 down with 9 to go, but at least, or I guess 10 to go for the Cubs. But realistically speaking, they're not going to catch him. But here you go. Mets trying to hold everybody off. I'm staying off of this. I also kind of like the total over. Both of these games have gone over pretty easily. There've been a lot of home runs. The the conditions have been good for homers for whatever reason. At City, I don't mind over with two guys. Again, Tong is in his fourth major league start, and Vasquez has been one of the weaker starters this year for San Diego. All right, let's shift gears. Let's go to the American League. How about those Toronto Blue Jays, Alex White? How about them as they continue to win games? 4 games in front of the Yankees and now 4 games in front of Detroit for the number 1 seed in the American League. We'll get to the Tigers in a second where all of a sudden things could get real interesting if one particular thing happens today. Bassett and Boz, the Battle of the Bees, -25 on Bassett and the Jays, +10 on the Rays, total 7.5 in Tampa today.
I think Toronto is the right side here. I just don't know if I want to lay -125. I do think Bassett has the edge over Baz, but I mean it's not huge, and I actually kind of trust the Rays bullpen more. So I'm going to stay off of this one. I think all numbers are right here. Maybe a lean to the over, but again, not enough for me to get there, especially low-scoring games with these two.
Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I think I'd just stay out of it. Toronto, 10 to go, 4-game lead on the 1 seed, end of division. Remember, they have the tiebreaker on both Detroit and the Yankees. Red Sox are 6 back with 10 to go, so that's just not realistic at this point anyway. But Toronto with real chance to have everything wrapped up by the beginning of next week at this rate, which no one expected this, and still a backdoor chance of having the entire, forget just the AL postseason, the entire postseason through the Rogers Center. All right, let's go to Detroit where, I don't know how Cleveland is doing this. I have no idea. They're defying every single number that's out there. I mean, they're really not any good, but here they are at 80-71, 2.5 behind Boston. But what is funkier now is the lead for Detroit is down to the lowest it's been in basically since May at this rate. It's 4.5 entering today's action. Cleveland's taken the first 2 of this series. Cleveland also hosts Detroit for 3 games next week. So if things are going to get weird, Cleveland probably needs to win today. The problem for them is they're facing Tariq Skubal. Now, Skubal left his last start with side tightness. He ended up being okay. Bybee on the other side for the Guardians. I mean, you want +190 on the red-hot Cleveland Guardians who are winning games, defying logic here, Alex? I don't against the best pitcher in baseball, but they happen to win today. This could get really weird with 9 games to go, with it being 3.5 with 3 games with these 2 teams against each other next week in Cleveland.
I mean, that is the tough part, right? Winning 6 in a row coming into this one. Didn't they do this last year as well, kind of sneaking in at the last second or playing really well up until the playoffs? But I can't jump in either way. I would like to back the Tigers here with Skubal on the mound, but I have to imagine they're going to be pretty cautious with him. So leading up to that start, I mean, he was pitching probably the best we've ever seen. He had 3 scoreless starts and going 7 innings in both of those. And then that weird bump with Miami, and, so I think they're going to be cautious with him, where we've talked about it numerous times. I mean, he is so important for their playoff run.
The whole ball of wax for Detroit is Skubal, right? I mean, if he were to go down, then it would be an underdog pretty much against of the current 6 teams in the field. They would be an underdog more likely than not in a best-of-5 series without Skubal against, I think, everyone but Boston. I would make them an underdog against Seattle. I'd make them an underdog against the Yankees or the Astros in a best-of-5 without Skubal. Again, I would handle them with kid gloves too, but it's late September. You got to wrap the division if you're the Tigers for the more likely than not back-to-back Cy Young winner as Skubal. Again, you're laying, -4,000 now on Skubal in the Cy Young race. Again, the race has been his for about a little over 2 months now, I would say, realistically speaking, maybe even longer. Let's go to Boston next. Red Sox, again, they're just not the same team without Roman Anthony. We've talked about this. They at least get the win yesterday. They win 5-4. They win it in 10. Salvage the second game. Rubber match here this afternoon. It defends. Bayo and Ginn, minus 45 on Brian Bayo, starting up in a little less than 2 minutes in Boston.
Nothing for me in this one. I think all the numbers are right. I do think Bayo should be about $1.50 here at home. So not enough for me to want to lay it. I don't really like his last 3 starts. Looking at the media numbers, going 6 innings though, but 3 earned runs for him. He has been better at home though. So that is the one thing I would give him, but nothing in this one either. I'm usually very cautious now with baseball here.
I agree. 100% agree with that. I think I go team total over 4.5 on the Red Sox. I think that would be the way I'd play it here. They'll score against Ginn. I know he's pitched a little bit better of late, but again, these are important games for the Red Sox. 2.5 clear. They do have the tiebreaker on Cleveland, so they are in good shape when it comes to that. They just have to end up in a tie after 162. After the Rangers got swept by the Astros last night, they're done. So it's really just Cleveland's the only one left, realistically, that could catch Boston in this short of a runway, but still think the Red Sox are more than fine. All right, let's go to Kansas City. Mariner win streak snapped last night, and not only that, they fell out of first place. They do have the game in hand with Houston because the Astros are idle here tonight, and that gigantic 3-game series in Houston begins tomorrow with the winner of that series having the tiebreaker. And if Seattle wins today, they will have the winner of that series over the weekend will have a 1-game lead and the tiebreaker entering the final week of the season. So a huge advantage coming. Well, assuming they win 2 out of 3. If someone sweeps, obviously, it would be tiebreaker plus 3-game lead, and then it's probably over, whoever it is. Kolek against Castillo. We've talked about Stephen Kolek, who has been undervalued all year, even going back to San Diego. Basically a flip here, minus 110 on the M's with a total of 9. This has been a good over series so far. And I really think you just go right back to it. I think that 9 is too short here. So I do like the over, especially looking at the media numbers from these 2 starting pitchers with Castillo on the road. Well, just his last 5, not even road. Going 5 innings, 3 earned runs. And on the other side with Kolek, giving up 2 earned runs. Now he is going deeper into games with 6, but I like the way the Mariners' bats are hot right now. So, yeah, this one I do like. I am going to fire on this one a little bit over, keeping that streak going. Those are all the day games. We will flip back around later in the show. We got 5 evening games, including important ones in the National League playoff race, and then 3, Yankees technically playing to wrap up a berth. The Brewers already wrapped up their playoff spot, but trying to hold on to the 1 seed, and then we get another one in Colorado. Woohoo! With the Marlins and the Rockies. I keep getting lucky in that series with my overs with late runs the last 2 days to get there with both the Fish and the Rockies. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll get all set up. Our guy Dwayne Colucci joins us next from the Rampart. Tonight, Thursday Night Football kicks off Week 3. What else are they betting in the NFL and college football on a Thursday? Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, and now we bring in our good friend. You'll see him every Thursday during football season here on the show, a little bit later than usual because there's some day baseball we had to get to. But our good friend Dwayne Colucci joins us now from the Rampart, D.C. You guys had quite the party there last Saturday with the opening of a new restaurant up there.
Yeah, definitely. You saw me tweeting out. We had the lion dance going on. Nomois is here, 105 years in Chinatown, Manhattan, Jeff. I know you're familiar.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to be a part of the taste testing. It was just fabulous, I'll tell you. So the lines have been extensive because now we have this as a lunch outlet as well. 11 a.m. it opens, and the lines are getting ridiculous. And yeah, they bang them out, I'll tell you, though. You don't really wait too long, and the food is just delicious. I could definitely tell you firsthand. So great to have Nomois. We have Ipazzi. Fabio Vivani now has a place here. He's also going to be extending out, have a pizza place. We're going to have an oyster bar. They're opening up shortly, I would say within a couple of weeks. And then we start to work on the hamburgers, tacos, the relocation of Starbucks. Everything's happening here at the Rampart. Definitely one of the hidden gems in Las Vegas from a local perspective. So come on out and see us. Still got the Hawthorne Grill, Jade, the buffet, the only buffet in Summerlin. So everything's going great. I'll tell you, the crowds have been off the hook.
Absolutely, Dwayne. And let's get to it here. Let's start with tonight's game with the Dolphins and the Bills. We're at Dwayne, right now here at the South Point and up at your shop, 11.5 is the number, 50.5 is the total for this one.
Yeah, I'm surprised. We opened it at 12.5. So now the initial response is 11.5, but we're still getting Buffalo money. So, it was sitting at 11.5. I kind of like Miami in this spot. I mean, I really think it's time for Buffalo to have a slight letdown, and they could still win by 10 points, guys. But I just think that this is a game where Miami really has to step up and support if they want to keep their head coach around. And, if you want to keep Tyreek Hill happy, Tua missed some wide open passes last week, but, I think Miami's definitely capable. And as you can see, we have a team total of 19.5 on the overside. I would say they would definitely have to score 21 points or more for them to be competitive in this situation. Buffalo just looks like a juggernaut. We saw what they were capable of doing against Baltimore coming back. Second game of the season, I'm sorry, Jeff, it was just a whitewash. And, Buffalo is just so strong right now and riding high in the AFC. But let's keep in mind, it's only 2 games. It's the same thing with the Los Angeles Chargers. Everybody is so ecstatic, so excited. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders, who have a depleted offensive line, running back that's a rookie. So, don't buy in too much. That was a huge win. Don't get me wrong. Buffalo, in my opinion, looks better than Los Angeles, but Miami could definitely compete here. This is an interdivision rivalry. One of these division rivals has to step up. Otherwise, Buffalo's going to win about 13, 14 games this year.
Dwayne, I want to give you 2 other dogs here getting about a touchdown, and that is Cleveland getting 7.5, maybe 8 at some spots against Green Bay, and they're at home, or the Jets. And we've seen money on the Jets because you can get 6.5 or 7 at some spots, and they're taking on Tampa Bay, who is now 2-0. Do you like either of those dogs this weekend?
I'll tell you, Alex, I'm going to be rooting for the Browns. I mean, they're betting the Packers off the board. The ticket count is just ridiculous at this point at 10-1, and naturally so. Everybody's enamored with the Packers as well, but let's keep in mind, it's only 2 games. This could be a defensive struggle. You could be right here taking it, especially at home. I love to take a home dog, but Cleveland has to move the ball. That's the whole key. They have to put some points on the board because, if the defense is on the field constantly, it's going to be a lot of trouble. That's a very, very difficult game. With the Jets, you're going to get Tyrod Taylor, so maybe Brees will be more of a factor in this game. Tampa is also due for a letdown. That was a huge win at the end of the game. Baker Mayfield, though, I mean, he is just a stud, I'll be honest with you. This guy has proven all the skeptics wrong. He is definitely a number 1 quarterback in this NFL, a starting quarterback. And, they want to keep the pedal to the metal as well. So that's a tough position for the Jets with a backup quarterback. But, Brees could definitely run the ball. I'm looking at a 10-1 ticket count there too, Alex. So, we tried with both the New York teams last week. It worked out halfway. The Jets were just god awful. I mean, they couldn't protect their quarterback. He just got totally crushed. Garrett Wilson was not involved. Brees, then, when you're playing catch up, you can't get him the ball much. And the secondary was just being shredded. And, it's a different team they're playing this week. Don't get me wrong. We know how great Buffalo is, but this is going to be a tough struggle with Tyrod Taylor under center.
Dwayne, I want to look at Washington and Vegas real quick because, of course, there's an unknown factor. We don't know if Jaden Daniels will be able to go or not. The number has obviously jumped all over the map, got as low as 3. Now we're back to 3.5 on Washington, a 44.5. Just how are they betting it at earshot again with the unknown factor of a high-end quarterback in this one?
Yeah, it's crazy, but they're still actually betting the Commanders because I think Daniels is going to play, and you're going to see that jump right back up. So if you think that Daniels is going to play, you better bet this game now because it's going to get back to that 6.5 range to where it was, when we anticipated that Jaden Daniels was starting. So keep that in mind. The Raiders, though, I like Geno in a bounce-back situation. I mean, he was so disappointed. You could see the disappointment on his face. 3 or more interceptions only about 4 times in his career. Maybe a good spot for the Raiders because if Daniels does start, he'll be a little banged up. If he doesn't, you have to contain basically Mariota, who's going to run the ball, but Eckler's hurt as well now. So this is a tough game. Maybe a bounce back position for the Raiders. But if you're going to bet the Raiders, I would say wait. If you're going to bet the Commanders, bet them now. That's my position on this game. I mean, I think the Raiders could definitely compete. Ticket count is about 3-1 in favor of the Commanders. They're betting as if Jaden Daniels is going to play. Reports out of the camp indicate he's probably going to suit up.
Dwayne, battle of the backups here with the Bengals and the Vikings. We get Jake Browning and Carson Wentz. Have you seen any movement here? Vikings a 3-point favorite, total 42.5.
We have to talk about this game, Alex. I mean, I don't know. Wow, what a tough game to handicap. I mean, I'm not seeing anything significant off the board, but should you see anything significant in this game? I mean, it's a tough game to handicap. I'll be honest with you. The Vikings, the ticket count is nearly even, slightly in favor of the money of the Bengals. You got superstar wide receivers, I'll give you that, but can these quarterbacks get the ball to Chase or to Jefferson? They got a commercial out there together. These guys are flashy wide receivers, but now you don't have much delivering them the ball. So, I would say maybe favor Browning. He was out there for an extended period. McCarthy got hurt. It was basically announced after the game. McCarthy looked terrible. I mean, he took a lot of big hits in that game. So rightfully so, you could understand him being hurt. But Minnesota's a tough place to play in. I would definitely lay off this game. I mean, how do you handicap it? So difficult. If anything, favor the Bengals just because, he was out there for a little bit when Burrow went down. But now Burrow missing 3 months, Alex. That's huge for Cincinnati. This becomes a huge game because you want to win as many games as possible in his absence, especially against mediocre teams, which right now Minnesota is a mediocre team.
Let's go to Philadelphia next, Dwayne. This is, to me, the best game of the entire Sunday card. Don't worry, there's a really good one on Monday as well. Rematch of a playoff game a year ago. The Rams were the closest to beating the Eagles in the postseason in the snow in Philadelphia last year. Ideal conditions for this Sunday. 3.5 with the Eagles. They're 2-0. The Rams are 2-0, and a total of 44.5 on this one, DC.
Yeah, 2 of the NFC frontrunners, Jeff. I'll be honest with you, and they're getting the job done. I mean, look at how Puka looked last week. Nakua was a beast. The Eagles, they're in stride. They're playing their game. Got to still involve A.J. Brown a little more, in my opinion, but definitely, Hurts is doing his thing, and we're currently sitting at, let me see on this game. We're sitting back at 3.5. Ticket count favors the Eagles, but the money is favoring the Rams. So you're seeing a lot of parlays and teasers on the Rams. People are anticipating this to be a very, very close matchup. Eagles are back at home. They want to make a statement as well. This is a tough game. I'm going to lay off this game. If anything, I'll throw it on a small teaser. But both teams look very good so far. And, it's just, this could be an NFC championship matchup of the future. keep your eye on the health of these teams. And, definitely Devontae was a major acquisition for Stafford. You saw how many yards he put up last week, and it opens things up for Nakua. The Eagles defense is going to have themselves, having to stop two big wide receivers. Not that they didn't against Dallas, because Pickens now has stepped it up a little bit, but I think this is more of a true test if you could shut down one of these big wide receivers. You can't double team too much because either of them will hurt you. Maybe take the Rams on a teaser, but this is a tough matchup. I hate betting against the Eagles when they're riding high.
Let's go to this AFC West matchup. It is pretty wild. The Chargers, this will be their third straight division game, laying 3 at home to the Broncos. Unfortunate loss for them. So they're just 1-1 coming into this one. Total 46.5.
Yeah, it came down to 2.5 now, Alex. So, I was looking for 3.5. I like Denver in this matchup a lot. And, I was just talking to Jimmy Ott about that. I think this is a bounce back for the Broncos. I think the Chargers are being overvalued now. People are just jumping on this Charger bandwagon. And keep in mind, they played a Raider team that had a very, very suspect offense. They were fumbling the game away late. Geno had a ton of opportunities to get the Raiders back in the game. Just couldn't do it. Had an off week. We talked about that. I'm not so sold on the Chargers yet. They were living and dying. They have great wide receivers, don't get me wrong. And now they're using the two-prong running attack, as I've spoken about before. Looks like they're trying and seal games late with Najee Harris, who has all the experience. He definitely carried them to the win last week late. But if you could shut down some of these wide receivers, don't be subjected to the long ball. Denver is definitely a better offense, in my opinion, than the Raiders, and will play better. And I like Denver in this game, but I like it a lot more with a field goal than less than a field goal. Like we just spoke about, we moved it down to 2.5. It was 3. Ticket count is still favoring the Chargers big, but the money is now favoring the Broncos. So the sharps are backing the Broncos in this position. When you see that high ticket count, it's a lot of parlays at teasers on the Chargers. I like Denver in this game.
Sunday Night Football, Dwayne. Chiefs in an unfamiliar position. They're 0-2. The Giants in a very familiar position of being 0-2 of recent years. Dwayne, up to 6. Up to 6. There's even some 6.5 in the market now on this game.
Yeah.
Just one-way traffic on KC with a total of 45.5.
Yeah, but they still got to stop Neighbors. I'll be honest with you. You haven't seen ever Patrick Mahomes lose 3 in a row, which he did. Now it could be 4 in a row. Let's see how that transpires. I mean, I hate betting against the Chiefs with their back against the wall. They played very good. You saw it was a game of inches. Kelsey fumbled away that game off his chest. They were playing without some key weapons as well, but yet they were still able to compete with the world champions. This is definitely a tough spot for the Giants. I mean, Wilson will not be as successful to Neighbors in this matchup. Dallas has a terrible, terrible secondary at this state, and they still were not able to win the game. Keep that in mind. Dallas still won that game. As great as all these weapons for the Giants looked, they were spreading it around. They even got Scatterboo involved now, which he looks like he could be a future talent. You swing this guy a few passes, run him in some good situations, and the Giant offense is definitely way better than it was last year. You saw that. I don't like the fact that they're mixing in Jackson Dart. Keep him on the side until you're going to start this kid. This is a tough situation, but you're getting 6 points at MetLife. So keep that in mind. Chiefs could still win the game by 3, 4, or 5, and you're going to cover. So, I would look at the underdog in this position, but the Chiefs are really with their backs against the wall. And like you said, they're hoping that Denver could get a divisional matchup win against the Chargers so the Chargers don't get too far ahead. That's a tough division, top to bottom. This is a game that the Chiefs must win.
Phenomenal Monday night game here. 2 teams that really bounced back after brutal Week 1 losses, the Lions and the Ravens here. We know how good Lamar Jackson is, and he's got that record going against NFC teams, but it seems like the bettors are taking the points here with Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at it. The money is slightly favoring the Lions, but the ticket count is almost 2-1 now, Alex, on the Ravens.
Okay.
So, all the public loves Lamar. They love to back him. They love to tease him. Definitely if they feel the Ravens could win, a teaser is a favorable position right now for Baltimore. Detroit got back on the beam after that terrible loss against Green Bay. You started to see Goff play his game, get the ball to Amon St. Brown. If anything, I think these teams could score a lot spot, so I would look at the over. The total is currently 53 at the Rampart and South Point, but this is a tough matchup. I'll be laying off because I can't get a read on either team just yet. I think Baltimore has the better team, but that doesn't really mean anything at the NFL level, especially when dealing with a team that is in the top 5 in the NFC. So this is a great matchup. We'll see who could outcoach it, who makes the fewer mistakes. Let's say it that way. Will Harbaugh make mistakes, or will Dan make the mistakes? Let's see how it plays out.
Dwayne, I want to hit a college game with you here. Miami, who has looked awfully impressive through the first 3 weeks of the season. They pummeled America's darling, the South Florida Bulls, and now they take on the Florida Gators this week. Gators, of course, have lost 2 in a row. The big upset at the hands of those South Florida Bulls. And then last week, DJ Lagway just played them completely out of an even game against LSU. Similar line to what it opened at against LSU for Florida before people took the Gators and all the numbers lost. 7.5 with the Canes in this one and a total of 50.5.
Yeah, it's not the case, though, in this game. They ain't taking the Gators, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. I'm looking at a 10-1 ticket count on Miami and Beck. They look great opening week. I like Miami in this position. I don't think Florida is going to be able to sustain this tough schedule thus far, like you said. But, Miami also was playing a lower caliber team there last week. So, maybe you could slide in the back door here. You look at the college football top 25, Miami's right there. The transfer portal helped them well. I think Miami wins this game in a landslide. I hate to be with the public, but 10-1 ticket count looks like it's about 10-1 on the money side too. Hopefully we'll get a little buyback, like you said, on Florida. That'll be so important. Otherwise, we're really going to be rooting for Florida if we don't get any buyback on this game. 7.5 at the Rampart and South Point.
All right, Dwayne, before we let you go here, got a request for some horse plays here today.
I got my racing form ready. Churchill is Twilight, so you guys are in luck. Let's look at the Churchill. I think it's the 4th race. Hold on. I got it right here, guys. Got to sift through my racing form and all my horse racing notes. You know how that is. We do have the 3rd race, Bushido, number 5 at Churchill Downs. David Jacobson, he's one of my favorite trainers. My dad grew up with this guy and his family. He comes from a strong tradition of horse trainers. He's got a big string now at Churchill Downs, and, he's definitely going to win some races there. I think he's got 2 wins at the current meet already. I'm looking at Bushido, number 5 in the 3rd race at Churchill. And keep your eye on the Richard Dutrow horse in the 7th race. He also has a chance. Let me see what his name is. The 4 horse, El Magnifico. We are Magnifico on Sports by the Book, so why not? This horse lost by a neck last time when leading the whole way around. Dutrow knows how to pull the strings. He's got Jose Ortiz, who is having an Eclipse Award-winning year. Jose is definitely right on Irad's tail for the Eclipse Award, and their brothers, guys, so keep that in mind. The Ortiz brothers have dominated this year. Last year it was Flavion Pratt. This year it's Jose and Irad Ortiz. Jose is doing a great, phenomenal job, though. He almost won the Saratoga title, and he spent a week basically at Kentucky Downs. He couldn't catch Irad, but he's definitely capable. El Magnifico in the 7th race, number 4, and we're using the David Jacobson horse, Bushido, in the 3rd race at Churchill. So there's 2 picks today, guys.
Love it.
There we go. Dwayne Colucci, our guy, race and sportsbook director up at the Rampart. Dwayne, we'll talk to you again next week. I'll see you this weekend after missing you last Sunday. So I'll see you on Saturday this week. We'll see you for some college football.
It was great. The first thing my dad asked, Jeff, is Paul's there? Is Jeff there? Before he came in on Sunday. Because my dad waits till after the NFL games start. So he comes in, he's like, is Jeff there? Is Jeff there? I was like, no, you didn't show up yet. So I kind of knew you weren't going to be there. Looking forward to seeing you this week.
Yeah, I'll see you on Saturday. I'll see you for college football this weekend. Our guy, and I got to get some Nomois as well. I mean,
Nomois, definitely. And soon you'll be trying our beats at iPods.
He'll be good. It'll be good. Dwayne Colucci, everyone. NYBookie Dwayne on the tweets. DC, we'll see you again on this show next Thursday.
Definitely. Have a great day. Let's pick some winners.
We'll do our best. When we get back, we'll look at tonight's game. We'll look at the props as well. Dolphins and Bills. Miami looking to avoid an 0-3 start, and the Bills looking to start 3-0 when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team. I think the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total is really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Happy to be with you as always. We got Thursday night football in the National Football League tonight, and we go to Western New York. The Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins doing battle yet again. Dolphins 0-2. Their defense has been as bad of a unit as there's been in the NFL this year. And the Bills 2-0, obviously the miraculous win week 1 against the Ravens, and then they just slaughtered the Jets last week at the Meadowlands. And Alex, right now we're sitting at Buffalo's an 11.5-point favorite and a total of 50.5. So they've laid it, and this total's gone up.
It's really tough here because in the old days, and Dwayne even said it, he was kind of leaning to taking the points here with this desperate Miami team. But I listened to something with Action Network. Chad Millman comes on our show regularly. Since 2015, division underdogs have 12 or more. So now we kind of lost that 12, but covering just 44% of the time. So, I mean, we know that the last few years it's been a lot of favorites and the public has done really well here in these spots. So it makes it tough. I made this number even higher here now that I bumped up the Bills and have been very cautious with Miami. And you've talked about it before the season even started. You foresaw this kind of unraveling here with Miami, and it's been a mess through 2 games. So I don't really want to jump in and take the points here. Doesn't leave us a lot of wiggle room, but total wise too, I do think we could see the defense improve from what we've seen the first 2 games, but it's a tough game to handicap. It really is.
It's hard to be worse than Miami's been through 2 games on defense. Now, the problem is Josh Allen has completely owned Miami through the years. It's only lost to him since becoming this version of Josh Allen. They've only lost once to him since McDaniels gotten there. And remember, that was the bizarro early season game where Buffalo outgained Miami by over 300 yards, but still lost the game. So Buffalo has owned this Dolphin team over the last few years. Dolphins so far this year, let's just go with this. Colts averaged 6 yards per play against them in week 1. They scored on every single possession.
Right.
The Patriots last week, after looking really bad against the Raider defense that played reasonably well against the Chargers on Monday night, but I wouldn't call the Raiders anywhere close to being an elite defense. Patriots averaged 6 yards a play in that game. And they were also 7 of 12 on third down, which those are really damning numbers for a defense that didn't force any punts in week 1 and then 7 of 12 on third down in week 2, can't get off the field and giving up big plays. When you're facing Josh Allen and the Bills offense, that seems like a big issue going into it. I think Buffalo's going to score whatever number they want to score tonight. So it's just going to be a matter of how much does Buffalo keep the foot on the gas pedal? Because last week, even though they won big, they were very conservative once they built out the lead against the Jets last week. Now, I think everyone who watched that game realized that the Jets probably would not make up that margin even if they played 16 quarters, but they were very conservative last week. Allen only threw 25 passes in that game. James Cook had 21 carries. If you put the running backs together, the 3 running backs combined for 32 carries last week against the Jets. So they were very conservative. And I think if Buffalo builds out a lead tonight, they'll be conservative as well. So that's a long way to put it, as I would lean to the Bills. I'd be very cautious of betting the over tonight because of the cautious nature, even though Miami has been awful on defense. And even without Ed Oliver again, even without Matt Milano on the Buffalo side, I still think their defense will be okay. It'll be closer to what it was last week against the Jets as opposed to getting eviscerated by Baltimore, who may very well be the best offense in the NFL, Alex.
No, it is very true. And we do know one thing, that the Dolphins will try and put pressure on Josh Allen, and they do blitz at a pretty high mark. But they tried that with Daniel Jones in week 1, and that's the best we've seen Daniel Jones look. So I mean, even if you were going to do a same game teaser here, the first week, remember, we were both like, yeah, Cowboys tease them up even higher, but I'm not that confident even jumping in with the Dolphins here. I'd rather go with the Bills and tease them down, maybe tease that total up and go under a bigger number there.
Yeah, I'll just say this with Miami, where I just, unless if Allen gets hurt, I just don't see a path. And even if Trubisky plays, I'm not sure that Miami would slow them down enough. But this is you're playing for your season. You got the Jets and the Panthers the next 2 weeks, which are going to be a game. Miami's going to be favored on Monday night. They'll probably be a small favorite in Charlotte, even if they're 0-4, realistically speaking. There are 2 winnable games coming up after this. But again, you're in an 0-3 hole, more likely than not, after tonight. On your screen, we'll start there with the props, the anytime touchdown props. DraftKings and FanDuel numbers. If it has a star next to it, it's a FanDuel number. If it does not, it's a DK number, just whatever number is better for the better. That's 2 different betters in that sentence, Alex. -175 on James Cook, -165 on Josh Allen. Your laying price is not overly surprising. If we're going down the board tonight, the down the board price for me is Malik Washington at 5-1 on the Miami side. He'll get reps as a receiver. He returned a punt for a touchdown last week, which again, I don't see Buffalo allowing that to happen, but he's been involved in the offense, and obviously Jalen Waddle's already struggled with health. Tyreek Hill is a ticking time bomb with his health as well. I would take a shot on Malik Washington at 5-1 would be the only number on the Miami side I'm willing to take, and then Ty Johnson's the only one on the Bills side. Just a matter of getting enough reps in the right area of the field for Ty Johnson.
On the Bills side, I was looking at one of the tight ends here, probably Dalton Kincaid, and I do think with the pressure, we'll probably see more of a 12 personnel here with Buffalo. So like one of the tight ends, I don't know if plus 225 is enough, and I want to jump in on anytime touchdown, maybe more of a over his receiving yards or over receptions here tonight. But I mean, you make great points, just kind of going back to the game. And I usually wouldn't just give a team absolutely no shot here to win the game. 0-2, Buffalo, they do have the talent. They do have some offensive pieces there. I just worry about the locker room and what we're getting. And that's why I really just want to stay away, even with such a high double-digit number here in a division game back against the wall. So it'll be interesting. I think we do have some receiving and receptions and some quarterback props as well with Josh Allen and Tua we can take a look at.
We do. Ryan, throw up whatever you'd like to throw up for us right here. We can go in any order we want here. We'll go Buffalo. See, it's already behind us. Look at that. The Buffalo skill position players, James Cook with a 14.5 on his rushing attempts 70.5 rushing yards. Obviously, Cook had a huge game last week against the Jets, in part because he had a big 50-yard run mixed in there. And the Jet defense has been very disappointing through 2 weeks. 1.5 on the receptions, 88.5 on the rushing plus receiving for James Cook.
Wow.
Keon Coleman, 3.5 receptions, juiced to the under, 42.5 on the receiving yards. And then Khalil Shakir, who's off to a relatively slow start, all things considered, for Buffalo, 4.5 on the receptions with 40.5 on the receiving yards, Alex.
I think they're really trying to get Coleman involved early here, and we saw him kind of take a bigger role later on in the season, and I think that that would be the guy I would target here between these three. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking any James Cook's props, and Tony Romo said it on the broadcast last week that he doesn't want to say he's underrated, but he is underrated, and I have to agree with that statement. Unless you are fully focused and, following like us, a lot of people don't know how good James Cook really is.
He's been awesome. And again, give him the big contract in the offseason. And Buffalo, despite having the MVP, still run first offense. When they're at their best, they're running the ball effectively. That's what they've gotten into problems when Allen's had to throw too much, except for that fourth quarter against Baltimore when they had no choice on that one. By the way, Shakir only 7 catches through 2 games. So it's part of the reason I said disappointing, even though the numbers got inflated a little bit against Baltimore. Let's look at the Miami skill position side of things. And they still have a big 3 with Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. Achane at 54.5 rushing yards, 12.5 attempts on the ground, 5.5 receptions, and then 101.5 combined rush and receiving yards. Big number there on Achane. Tyreek Hill at 5.5 receptions, 64.5 on the receiving yards, and then Jalen Waddle at 4.5 receptions and 50.5 on the receiving yards. If it's in the gold, it's at the South Point. If it's in the white, it's at DraftKings on this screen.
Are we getting a little bit of an inflated Achane number here? Coming off a pretty decent game against the Patriots?
I think the thinking here with Achane, and I don't like that. I think that rushing yardage would go under, but Miami will be down. Tua still likes to check it down regardless of what's going on. This could be one of those games where Achane has like 6 carries, but has like 9 receptions.
Yeah.
Because Miami's chasing. It wouldn't shock me if it's something along those lines for Achane tonight.
I think that's pretty solid there because you are thinking they're playing from behind. So looking at it more from receptions rather than carries.
Quarterbacks here tonight. Of course, we have the MVP in Josh Allen on one end, and we have Tua Tagovailoa. For Tua, I just want to talk about Tua's performance so far before we look at the numbers. Week 1 was just an epic disaster. Any way you slice it, decision-making was bad. He fumbled. He only threw for 114, threw 2 picks. And then last week, I don't know what was going on with Tua in those winning time drives because he played reasonably well in that game. Like, if you look at it and say, all right, he's 26 of 32, efficient. He had 315 yards. Okay, they were chasing, but all right. But the decision-making at the end of the game through the pick that ended it, just bad decision-making around in those last 2 drives for Miami when they had a chance to go win the game. Here's Tua's options here tonight. But, boy, if you're chasing 238.5 passing yards, feels a little bit low for me tonight. If you want to take a shot, I do not mind that. Left side of the screen, South Point, right side of the screen at DK, if you're looking to compare and contrast here on your screen if you're watching us right now.
I mean, really, though, their offensive line has just been so bad and now dealing with even more injury. So I just can't get involved anyway here with any Tua props.
Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, again, we talked about it last week. Buffalo is very conservative. 30 rushes for running backs a week ago. Again, they won the game by 20. It was never really, now it was 30-3 before Tyrod led the junk time touchdown drive for the Jets. I don't know what to do here because I expect Buffalo to play from ahead all night, which leads me to saying Allen's going to throw less. You're going to have a game where Allen's probably only throwing the ball 25 times, maybe even less in this game tonight. But there's always the chance that this game is closer than we expect, and Allen has to throw a lot. 237.5 on the passing yardage, 20.5 on the completions. I'm just staying away from everything here tonight on this one, Alex.
You know, thinking about what you just said, what if we flip the script a little bit and they're not playing from ahead the whole time? What if Miami comes out and actually has a strong and a good game plan for the first half? Maybe that's the way we should be looking at it, and then Buffalo kind of runs away with it second half.
Maybe that would be a bet on Miami first half, then, right, Alex? I mean, that's if you think that's the game flow, you're getting a whole 7.
That's what I was thinking
here tonight in the first half. So you kind of if you think Miami can keep this thing tight, you're 7. I mean, you rarely see that in the NFL. For a first half. So that'd be the only way I'd look to do that.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Full touchdown there.
Any other notes we got to be looking at here tonight in this game?
That's it for me for this one.
Well, we got a college game.
Yes, we
do.
We
can be quick. I don't have any thoughts on this, but I know, Alex, you have some notes on this game, especially with how Rice has wanted to play offense so far this year.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, I was pretty shocked to see that they are ranked 3rd right now in run percentage, running on 81% of their offensive snaps.
Oh, boy.
And it does kind of make sense, though, because their quarterback in Chase Jenkins only 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception as well, but completing 73% of his passes, 182 yards for him. He is a dual threat, though, so that definitely helps with their run game. I lean to Rice, and I can't get there because I don't want to lay a number here with a bad team. But they do have home revenge, and they lost last year at home 21-20. Probably left a bad taste in their mouth. They'll be ready for this one here against Charlotte. Charlotte on the other side, Connor Harrell, quarterback there. He has some experience, comes over from North Carolina. He's completing 68% of his passes, 8 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns for him, 2 interceptions, 664 yards. With all that being said as well, if Rice didn't run so much and take every time off the clock they could, playing seconds per play, 31, 125th there ranking, I would go with the over. I think we can get some points from both sides. I made this game higher than 43. I still am kind of leaning that way, if anything. So it would be a Rice play with the over. Maybe I just take a little bit money line with over 43 there.
Yeah, total actually just got hit a little bit up to that 43 here, Alex, at the South Point. So we saw a lot of 42.5 through the week. It just got hit to the over. Charlotte's really bad. Rice is less bad. Even though Rice did have the week 1 upset win over Louisiana, Lafayette, maybe the Cajuns just aren't any good this year. I'm going to steer clear. This is maybe an in-game spot, but I'm going to stay off here tonight with this American Athletic Conference matchup. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get our final 5 baseball games of the day, including some big ones in LA and Cincinnati. We'll also get the whiteboard, and we'll also tell you what in my hand, look at this, the City Lights Shine trivia question of the day. And I have Strawberry Banana in my hand right now, the special Joey Logano edition, which you can get as a part of the slot promotion right now here at the South Point for the month of September. And when we come back, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though this total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team. I think the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400 and NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
We're back in at Sports by the Books. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Happy to be with you.
I'm glad you got the names correct.
That's a one-off thing at this studio. I found the clip that I was referring to after the show. I'll have to show you it, Alex. But let's dive in. We got a few baseball games that we didn't hit at the beginning. Let's start in Denver. Rockies and Marlins here. Sandy Alcantara against Gordon. Gordon's been arguably the best starter this year for Colorado. Alcantara has been really good the last month. 10 on the total. Marlins are minus 170. I'm going back to the well again. I've gotten super lucky in these first 2 games on the over, but I'm going to go back to it. You give me a 10, even with 2 pitchers that have pitched well of late. It's Coors. It's a day game. I'll take over 10 in Denver for this one.
Oh, I can't get there. I like both of these pitchers. I really do. In their last 5, they have really good median numbers. So I'm just going to pass and root for the bullpens to give up a lot of runs.
Let's go to Cincinnati for the next one. So the Cubs, they clinched the playoffs berth yesterday. They're in. Again, more likely than not, they will be the 4 seed in the National League, hosting more likely than not the Padres in a wild card series starting about 10 days from now. Colin Ray against Hunter Green. Reds are still in this thing. 2 games behind New York entering today's action. Mets and Padres currently tied at 1 in the top of the 3rd. Green is a minus 140 favorite, 8.5 the total. I know we like going against the teams that just clinched the day before. This is a little bit of a different situation because the Cubs ended up traveling after the celebration in Pittsburgh yesterday. Very short trip from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. It's Green with a good pitching advantage. It'd probably be a lean to Cincinnati here, Alex, more than anything.
I don't know. I'm going to definitely stay off because I think Colin Ray has been decently good, and I worry about Hunter Green now. I mean, he had a few good starts in September, but he's coming off a really bad start against the Athletics where he only went 2 1/3 and gave up 5 earned runs there. Now, that could just be Sacramento, but I just worry about the health of him and would like to see him get back to 100% before jumping in. So I'm going to pass on this. I was actually leaning to an over here between these two. I think 8.5 is a pretty good price, and I think we could get runs from both sides.
Let's go to L.A. Huge series here. Dodgers enter today 2 games ahead of the Padres. Remember, Dodgers have the tiebreaker over San Diego. They just have to be tied after 162. This is basically 3 or 5 seed at this point for the Dodgers and the Padres. They're not catching the Phillies or the Brewers or the Cubs, for that matter, any of these teams. And that's where we're basically at. It's Yamamoto and Webb. What a pitching matchup tonight. at Dodger Stadium. Yamamoto's minus 165, Webb's plus 150, total 7.5. Giants got to be kicking themselves for last weekend where they won the first game and then had Webb and Ray against these Dodgers and lost both. Yamamoto was great against the Giants last weekend. I'm going to stay off of this, even though this is a pretty good price on Webb. Yamamoto's just so locked in right now.
He is. He really is. He's definitely pitching. He's one of the best right now in the league. So it makes it tough. I'm going to go with the first 5 under. You can get a 4. Oh, no, that's the team total. That's 3.5 here at the South Point. There are some 4s out there. So I'm going to make sure I get that 4. But you're right, Jeff. Webb, he didn't pitch well against this Dodgers team. He only went 4 innings, gave up 6 earned runs on 10 hits. He's got to lock in, and I think he will here tonight with Yamamoto on the other side. So I'm going to go under. I think he can at least pitch pretty well here against the lineup 2 times through.
It's going to be so interesting to see what the Dodgers now do with this rotation.
It is.
Having to play in a wild card series where Snell shoved last night. What a performance by Blake Snell in that one. But we'll see. Yamamoto's been locked in. Dodgers 2 games in front of San Diego. I guess they could technically catch the Cubs with being 3 behind the Cubs if we ended up in a scenario of San Diego caught them, but it's unlikely that the West second-place team can hop Chicago without hopping whoever's in first place in their own division at this point. So
it's funny, with Cofield yesterday on Cofield and Company, we were talking about if Ohtani would still start or maybe come in at relief, but
that was interesting yesterday because Dave Roberts brought that up in his press conference. Logistics of that seems so difficult, right? Like you have to play Ohtani in the outfield for one, and then you have the whole logistics of having to warm up while potentially maybe having to run the bases or having the bat. It just in theory it makes a lot of sense, but logistically speaking, it could be a nightmare if you wanted to do that. I think Ohtani would be by far their best closer at this point. Yes. If you wanted to go in that route, if you're the Dodgers. All right, let's go to Baltimore next. Yankees, again, in command of the top wild card in the AL. Going to be difficult for them to hop Toronto 4 back without the tiebreaker with 9 to go. Here you go today against the O's. Fried and Povich, minus 210 on the Yankees, 8.5 your total.
I can with confidence say that Max Fried is officially back. And looking at his last 5 starts, the media numbers going 7, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. I'm going to take the Yankees on the run line today. minus 1.5, minus 130 here for me.
All right, let's go next to Milwaukee. Brewers looking to sweep Kikuchi and Priester. Kikuchi, again, has been all over the map for the Angels this year. Priester, the Brewers just don't lose when he pitches. Even though he hasn't pitched as well recently, The Brewers just keep winning with Priester. Again, 13-2 with a 3.25 ERA. A little over $2 now on Milwaukee. I'm just going to stay out of this. I do think the Brewers win the game, but I don't want to lay that sort of price.
I agree with you. And there's not really any way around it. I guess if we look for first 5 run line, lay half a run there with Milwaukee, but I think the Angels have given up at this point. Lose 6 in a row coming in. Soriano left that game early. We didn't really have a shot there.
You see what happened to him? He got
it.
clocked with a line drive near 110 miles an hour right in the ribs.
Oh my gosh.
And you can hear it.
Oh,
it was not pleasant. And I'm sure it was not pleasant getting hit with the ball. It was not pleasant to hear it either for Soriano. And then we were totally done. The Angels bullpen was awful last night. What are you going to do? It happens.
No.
All right. Let's, Alex will get our whiteboard ready. Let's start with the poll question. Which team will be the last one to claim a wild card spot in the NL? The Diamondbacks and the Giants get 31%. The Mets and the Reds get 19%. I feel like our viewers are just trolling me, but that's okay. You're allowed to. The Diamondbacks, I will say this with Arizona. That was such a good missed opportunity or bad, whatever way you want to look at it, whatever wording you want to do. Should have won that game. They should have won that game yesterday, and then that could have really gotten interesting because Arizona would have been a half behind as opposed to 1.5 here entering today's action. I think the Giants are going to get crushed in L.A., so I completely disagree with you guys in the pollsters on San Francisco. I think the Giants are going to get walloped this weekend in L.A. Reds play the Cubs. Mets are in action right now. if we're going off a pure schedule, Cincinnati has the easiest one remaining.
Wow.
Even with San Francisco having the Rockies on the schedule, but 4 games against the Dodgers doesn't help. Diamondbacks, by the way, play 3 playoff teams remaining. But as we know, we don't know what the motivation is going to be next week for San Diego. Final weekend of the year, the Dodgers and the Phillies coming up this weekend. Mets have the Nats and the Marlins and the Cubs in their 3 remaining series.
It would only be Reds for me. I mean, they've been right there. The other 2,
Yeah, I think
teetered all year long.
Cincinnati is the epitome of 81 and 81 to me. I think that's where they're going to end up. And I think 83 is the number to me, which is pathetic, but that's what the number is to me. I think 83 gets you there. And if you get to 83, I think you're going to win this thing. 84 definitely gets you there at this point. I don't think any of these teams are really all that good. That's why we have a race here with a week to go with teams at 500 still alive here in the National League wildcard chase. All right, ticker trivia. City Lights Shine providing it. Bringing in, of course, the strawberry banana in my hand. Caramel apple is just back there. Available with the slot promotion right now here at the South Point for the month of September. Oh, we get to go to hockey today. How about that? Hockey getting up, though. All the training camps are getting going here. Let's go with this. On this date in 1993, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, oh yeah, we're going back in the day when they were still owned by Disney, played their first preseason game as an NHL franchise against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Interesting. Who was the first coach and captain of the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim at the time? The Mighty Ducks, now, of course, just the regular Anaheim Ducks, were led by Ron Wilson in their inaugural season, 71 points. Wilson would coach them for the first 4 seasons before moving on to a new job in Washington. And the captain was Troy Loney, left winger selected in the expansion draft, was the team's first captain, selected from the Penguins. And Loney served as the captain for the first year and then played for the Islanders and the Rangers before his career finished up. Of course, ticker trivia now brought to you by City Lights Shine. Make sure you get your hands on this Joey Logano special edition bottle available with the South Point slot promotion here in the month of September. All right, Alex, whiteboard time here on a Thursday.
I am ready, but sadly, I do not have any football on the whiteboard today. 3 baseball picks for you. I am going with the Giants and the Dodgers. First 5 under 4 here with Logan Webb and Yamamoto on the bump. 2 favorites that I do like. I like the Yankees playing good ball. Bats are hot. I'm going with them. -1.5 against Baltimore, -130. And then the Brewers. I just think there's a big pitching advantage here with Priester versus Kikuchi. So Brewers, first 5 run line, -130.
Again, Milwaukee trying to hold off Philadelphia for the top seed in the NL. But again, Philly's off today. They get Arizona. Brewers have the tie break. So again, real chance for the Brewers to have not just the NL postseason, but the entire postseason through AmFam Field, as we all expected at the beginning of the season, Alex White, with that. All right, we're back tomorrow. 2 shows, 10 a.m., our regular show, baseball. We'll have the 2 college football games that are in action tomorrow as well at the FBS level. And then at noon, all 4 of us, Alex, myself, Chris Andrews on that side, Vinny Maliula right there, Football Frenzy on a Friday, NFL Week 3, College Football Week 4, tomorrow at noon. So make sure you're tuned in for both the 10 a.m. and the noon show right here on the Sports by the Book channel here at the South Point studio. Alex, good luck. I know you didn't have a lot of football, but I'm sure we'll end up with some in-game stuff here tonight. She's Alex White. I'm Jeff Parles. We will see you all again tomorrow. Gone Racing comes your way later today as well. Jeff Motley, Brennan Gahn, get you ready for the weekend in NASCAR and, of course, Race Day Las Vegas live Wednesday through Sunday here, 7 a.m. at the South Point studio as always. We'll see you again tomorrow twice, 10 a.m. and noon, right here on the South Point, at the South Point studio on the Sports by the Book channel.